Hello, my wonderful students. Okay, let's play with the Toon shader in Redshift. I've done the Toon shader in Arnold, but let's try Toon shader in Redshift. It's recently added in the life cycle of this product. So let's see what's going on. So I'm gonna convert this head that I did a while back. It's not really this got rigged, so the head changed in terms of likeness and stuff like that. But let's start with this here. So first we're going to graph material and selection, and this is a shader, but we don't need all this. So I'm just going to grab these two items, and I'm going to delete it. And actually, I might keep that displacement on there though. Where's my displacement blender? It's actually right here. So let's just grab this like so. And then we're going to grab the Toon shader. So let's grab that. So I'm going to type Toon and Redshift Toon material. I'm going to get rid of this. Remember, it's the shading group that gets assigned to an object, not the material. So I'm just going to rename the shading group actually to, what am I going to rename you to? RS Toon head. Boom. And I'm going to keep that O there because it looks very toony. Alright, so I'm going to grab this, connect it here, and let's hit play, see what it looks like. Alright, looks like him without his thing, right? Doesn't look very toony, does it? Alright, so let's grab this shader, and we got our color and our weight. Let's just come in, just give me that initial blue without the detail. That's a little red. There we go. A little blue, desaturate that a bit. Let's bring down that value just a little bit. Okay, so here's our sort of starting point. Now, with any shader, we're going to need a tone map on it. So why don't we create a tone map? Now, there's two tone maps we can use. If I type tone map, there's a Redshift tone map pattern, right? And then there's also the traditional ramp. So I'm going to start off with the ramp. And we're going to call this my base color tone map. Base color tone map. Like so. And I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to connect it into here. And boom, it looks exactly the same. Why does it look the same? It looks the same because the tone map needs some breakup. So I can bring that shadow up now. Here I'm going to switch to none. That's going to give me some sorts of dark stuff, but things still are looking pretty weird. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this reflection initially, just so I can see what's going on. And another thing I might do, I'm going to pause. That siren was pretty loud. All right, coming back. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go to my lights. Now, the thing about the lights is you don't want to use your standard sort of, let's see, let's choose a different thing here. I'm going to go to perspective 1. There we go. And let's show my lights. What you don't want to do is you don't want to use a standard light. Like these fill lights, they tend to be incompatible with these types of shaders, and you always want to use a point light. So I'm going to grab a point light, spotlight, or directional light. So let's make this our directional light. It's still going to get our thing. There we go. That's looking a little bit better now, right? Looking a little more flat here. Let's Rembrandt this up here. Something like that. All right. And I'll just navigate here. Pivot them around a little bit. Ah, I went too far. Greedy. Come on. Bolt. going too far again. Let's go halfway that time. Alright, I'm going to take this intensity, and the intensity is at 1, so I'm just going to go to 0 here. And then I'm going to increase my exposure like so. Alright, so he's not looking very cartoony at the moment. So let's drive him a little more cartoony. This background is not working, so I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use my dome light, and I'm just going to go into the environment, and I'm going to turn on the background. And then I'm going to actually delete the texture like so. And then I'm going to bring this down to a neutral color, like a gray. And then I'm going to go to the contribution here, and I'm just going to turn everything off. Alright, so apparently that light was doing a lot, and this light was doing nothing? Yeah, apparently that light was doing a lot, and that other light was doing nothing. Alright, so I'm going to bring this back down. There we go. Okay, so I got that point light established. Now I'm going to grab this light back here. This is my rim light, and again I'm going to change this. Now, what did I say? I said we can do directional, we can do a spot, or we can do a point. So here, let's just do a spotlight, and let's take that guy, give him a bigger angle here, something like that. And maybe I'm just going to move him back a bit, bring him up here. And I'm going to drive this exposure up. Let's go big, let's go to 20, just see if we're getting anything off of it. And we're not, but that's okay, because I'm already at the maximum color here. So let's just forget about that for now. We're going to use this rim light as our rim light here. We're going to attach it. So, I got that set up. I have too much detail here. The skin is not working. So I have my skin displacement bumps, and I have my displacement for my head. So I am just going to use that head displacement, and I'm going to connect it into here. There we go. So now it's kind of picking up more stuff, and it's giving us something that looks more cartoony, right? So we're just going to grab this and this. Boom, there we go. Things are a little bit messy. I don't know if I need anything else. Oh, I want that tone map pattern, so let's just go like this. Alright, so we got that going on. And now I have this guy right here, this light, and this light, I think I'm going to make this my fill light, my 3 point. So I'm going to pull this back. And again, why don't we do a spot, or not a spot, let's do a point light on this guy, and let's bring him down like so, right? And then we're going to punch this up, maybe to, again, let's go big, 20, there we go. This kind of looks like room work here, and I'm gonna do something like this. All right, so the problem right now in our tone map is I only have 2 tones, right? I have white and black. As I start peeling this back more, right, this is going through what would be that sort of white point, right? So, you know, we have that shading starting, and as I come down, right, it's going to peel back to that core part of the shadow, and that's going to be where that black starts, right? So what I can do is I can come in here and I can add another component. And why don't we start adding some color into this? So let's come in and like add a red or something like that. Right, and then I'm going to come into this guy, and I think I'm still going to keep with this red, but instead I'm going to go darker, and we're going to go a little less saturated. I'm going to do something like that. Okay. There we go. Oh, and sorry, one last thing we're going to do here. We're going to switch that linear to none. Right, so now we're getting a little bit more of a comic book feel. I'm going to extend this a little bit more. And I'm going to come into here like so. All right. Now, I'm going to come back up to this. You should never go 100% saturation on anything. Now, we will notice one thing here. If I switch this light to a colored light and I adjust the color, it is having an effect. In Arnold, it would not have a much of a coloration effect at all. It would it's always driven by the tone map. So here in Redshift, it's actually it's going to use the color, but it's going to use it like maybe in a different way than what you're expecting. Like here, I'm expecting like a normal light. As I draw that saturation back, you see what effect that's having there. Now it's not adding that green, but it sure was adding that red in here, or fuchsia. So that saturation looks like it has like push to green, and then that saturation is also like almost like a control for a drop off, which is really kind of interesting, I find. So that's the color of that light and how it acts differently than if you're using Arnold. So okay, this is going not so bad. Next thing I want is the outline. So to do the outline, it's a little bit tricky because the outline, if you use Arnold, is up here in the top. In Maya, it's different. I'm going to type contour, and we're going to bring up the Redshift contour. Now, there's actually nowhere to plug this. You don't plug that into the base color or something like that. Where you plug it into, and the reason why we've been having the shading node here all along is because I'm going to open this up, and we have this contour shader right here. So I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to middle drag it, and I'm going to drop it onto the contour shader like that. And you can see I got a little black line. It's very thin. This is kind of cool because I could probably take my main texture and still apply that to it. So the contour doesn't necessarily have to be a cartoon shader, right? The contour can be used from just about anything. Let me pause for a quick sec. Sorry, the music in my headphones is too loud. Hard to think. Okay, so from here, I got that contour established. And so I'm going to come in here, and right away, we have an external and an internal thickness, right? So let's start with this external thickness first. And I'm going to give it like a 10. And right there, it's giving a little bit more thickness. And the slider actually goes up to 10. I can overdrive this, so I can say 40, right? And that's giving me an outline. But then, you know, I'm changing this slider, and I might not want to change that slider. So what I can do, if I come off this, go back on, it's a maximum 10, is I can sort of set a better baseline. So if I go into my render settings here, and essentially I'm just doing this so you guys know it's here. I'm going to go to advanced. I'm going to go to globals. You see this contour scale? So this is the base contour scale for the whole scene. So if I go 4 here, then that all of a sudden becomes a multiplier of that thickness, from what I can tell anyway. So now that 10 thickness to me looks more than enough. So I'm going to keep it around that 4. And I'm just going to go something like that. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is we can play with the internal shapes a little bit, try to get a little bit of visual interest in here. So I'm going to bring the angle threshold down, and you see it's going to start picking up some of those internal shapes within the object. Now I probably have still too much detail in my object, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, And I'm going to go into my Redshift settings, and I'm still going to tessellate them, but I'm going to bring that tessellation down a little bit. I mean, that tessellation is not hurting anyone. What is hurting things, though, is this auto bump mapping, because it's giving a lot of extra detail here. So if I disable that, oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button because I was looking at the screen. All right, if I hit that enable auto bumping and I turn that off, that's going to bring down some of that detail. And now I can also bring more down of that detail, or bring more of that detail up by just using the subdivisions, right? As I go up, I'm going to get more detail, or I should get more detail. It didn't really seem that much, but I know as I go down, I'm going to get less detail in the height. There you go. So now I can play with this detail a little bit. And I want to get those scars to pop a little bit. So I'm getting that little bit of that scarring to pop. Alright, so now I'm going to come back down to the contour here. And I can start playing with the angles a little bit more. Right? And honestly, the depth, well, I guess we're getting a little depth in that shadow there. Usually I really don't see this do a lot. And then detect separate meshes. Once we start propagating this shader to the other things, we can kind of see what that's doing. Then there's also, we have smooth normal and we have geometric normal. Now the smooth normal is going to try to go use whatever displacement map you happen to have, right? Or normal map is more common, right? Just this happens to be a, you know, it was like a photoreal thing I was doing. So anyway, here I'm going to go to geometric normal. And what the geometric normal does is it now starts picking up the lines, the line work off the actual geometry. So if I bring this down a little bit more, I'm bringing it down a little bit more, sir. Come on. All right, well, I didn't really pick that up. Oh, there it is. It took a while to pick that up. I'm going to bring this thickness down a little bit. So what it's doing now is it's using the contour, the tessellation of the object, right? It's using the actual, like, my line flow, right? Like you can see that coming in here. Because I'm tessellated at this point, that makes that geometric normal almost useless. So I can reduce the number of subdivisions I have. So now it's going to be using this right here. It's not subdividing it anymore. And now I can come into here. And this is if I want to use that. And I can do something like that. And I'm going to take this thickness and bring it down. Make it pretty thin. Right? So this is if I did really good and I really laid these out things pretty strong. I am going to play with the smooth normal. I find that that is the better one. More about when you're using a normal map as well. I can go grab this normal map, though I think that normal map has the skin baked into it, so that's probably why I don't use it. Where is my bump map, bro? Bump input right there. That means the bump input is right here. Actually, let's take it off of. There's the bump map right here. Let's try that. So I'm going to do a quick connection into here. Now you see it's picking that up, but the problem in that case is it's picking up my skin detail, which again I kind of don't want. So I'm just going to use the well, I can actually use this in combination with the other thing, but I'm just going to use my tessellation here. So we're just going to take this guy and let's tessellate this up, and I'll get my detail from here. And I hope that was not too confusing. All right, so I got that coming in, and maybe I'll again, I'm using smooth normal, so maybe I'll come in here a little bit more and just try to pick up a little bit, like so. All right, so that's what we got going on now. Now let's just, for fun, let's connect this What happens here? Boom. Look at that. We get the tone map. So this is kind of fun. We got half tone. Let's go side view, sine waves, grid. Right, and this is generating that black and white coming in. So maybe I want to bring this value down a little bit. So something like this. Oh no, that's my high value. So I can probably in this maybe do something. Or maybe I can actually take this and put it into that base tone map. The problem here is this becomes visually really hard to look at. If you're trying to animate and stuff like that, if you're trying to do graphic work, something like this is fine. But if you're trying to animate it, it tends to be too busy. That's why, like in Into the Spider-Verse, it's pretty soft, right? And you're going to be almost using like two of these type of layers. I would go like something super thin like that, and maybe reduce that scale a little bit. Like, let's see, can I go smaller, 0.1? Can I underdrive that? Oh, okay, I want to go bigger. No, that 0.1 just seems like it was a fail. I guess that's about as small as I can go. Oh, maybe I can go scale width like this. Start bringing it down like that. Oops, scale 1 again. Come on. There we go. Now I'm making it smaller and stuff, and then I could support it with like this tone map. What happens if I take this tone map and I plug it into here? That just made it a little darker, but it's using that. It's using this, I think. So what happens if I bring up that value? Yeah, so I can kind of tint those off. I can kind of get what I want, but I think I would put like another shadow coming in through here. Figure out how to do that. Maybe I would do that by doing this. There we go. And maybe I'll take this guy here and I'll break the connection off this one. And let's desaturate that. There we go. So this is kind of what I was thinking about. Something like that, just making it a little bit more fainted or whatnot. I'm going to punch this back up to 1. Maybe put some halftone marks in there or something like that. Let's give them an expression. Raw. Come on, Progressive Render, update. What you doing, bro? There we go. Alright, so kind of fun, I guess. Anyway, here, that's what that tone map pattern does. I'm going to leave the tone map pattern alone. I'm going to put it here. You know, another thing I can probably do, sorry, one last time. Then I'm going to leave that tone map pattern. Why don't we try this? I'm going to take it and drop it into the shadow side. What happens if I do that? Okay, look at that. Okay, I got it. You ready? Let's take that midtone and let's get that on that midtone. And that should give us a nice transition spot. Something like that, right? Now I can just bring this back down a little bit, and I can play with these colors to give me more what I want in that shadow. I'm going to bring this shadow down here. Speaking of shadow, and if I bring this white area down, and then I can limit that sort of range. So there's an idea for you, but we're going to leave this alone. Alright, so we're going to drop that. Boom. Alright, maybe we'll bring it back. I don't know. I'm going to take this guy, bring this back to where it was. So let's just select that, and I'm going to bring that value up. And then I'm going to shift the colors a little bit. And again, that saturation, what's that saturation do at that mid value? No, it's not doing much there. It's the saturation on that top end value, which seemed to be the trick here. But anyway, I got something like this. Okay, so now we also have this light and opaque shadow. So here I can grab light shadow. Let's see what difference that makes. All right, so that's filling in the actual shadows within the object, which might be kind of the look you're going for at the time. I'm not sure. It's about what you want, right? Now here, where's that? I have that point light. It's somewhere out here. Where'd you go, point light? Or did I make it a spotlight? No. Where's that point light? All right, let's bring up our light list here. And that was my fill. Was it this one that I made? No, it's an area light. Let's disable you, because I don't want, all I want is point lights in the scene. There's my fill light right there. So I might move this over a bit. Maybe pull it back a little bit. There we go, something like that. Make him look a little more serious. We'll see what you got in a pose, bro. How about this pose over here? Give me a better pose, bro. Alright, I'm not going to finish with that. Oh man, we're at like 26 minutes. Alright. Alright, this light's doing okay. I think I might take this light though, and I'm going to bring that exposure down a little bit to make this midpoint come a little bit more across his face. Let's punch that up a little bit. There we go. So I just want a little bit more shadow in them, in that range here. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is, alright, so we got that in here. Let's go to the contour. I think I might punch this up a little bit more just to try to get a little bit of this eye detail in around them. And I think that's doing okay. Move that over a little, and I'm going to rotate a little. I might have to use this view for it because I'm not getting the best something like that. Alright. Alright, now I have a little bit more detail in my color, so I'm just going to go over here and grab my color. Let's go color hunting. So my base color, I think it was my, where are you, bro? It's not my deep color, mid color. I think my shallow color does not have a lot of detail in it, so let's grab that guy. Let's go S1. I don't know, this color correct node is not going to work anyway. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to click into base color. Let's see what we got. There's that texture map. So that's giving me some of the vein detail and stuff like that. So that's not bad. I'm not too sure I'm crazy about this part, but that's okay. Let's continue. Alright, so we're having fun, right? Oh, I'm having fun anyway. I don't know if you're having fun, but I'm having a good time. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab that rim light and give it some shape. And again, I'm going to just test these two. And I think I like, I don't know which one I like better right now. I think probably this one, light and opaque shadow. Okay, so from here, I'm going to skip the reflection and we're going to come into the rim light. And I have that rim light sitting right behind him, right? And so with the rim light, what you need to do is you need to link it into the light list. That way it's only, in theory, going to, you know, light him from the back. So, in theory, what you should be able to do is select your light and then shift select the material. However, I don't know, the current version I have, this is a bug. So how can I get around this bug? Well, how I can get around this bug, I found, I'm going to switch this temperature to color on that light, and I'm going to make sure you do this. You have to do this. Disable this render here. So I'm going to take this guy, this light. Sorry. I'm going to take the light, and then I'm going to take this Toon material, and I'm going to connect it into the color. Now with that connected into the color, because this is still selected, I can follow this through to the actual shader. Note that the light is still selected. And now in the light list, I can click on my rim light. There you go. I'm not done because I've created a circle, right? So I need to come back to the light here, and I need to break this connection. If I don't, I'm going to crash Redshift, right? And I'll make sure that's white. And so now I'm going to hit play, and let's see what happens here. Our interactive light anyway. You know what? I probably have my render settings up really high. Let me turn down my render settings. Alright, so I disabled global illumination, and let's see if I get a little bit faster updates and response. Getting a little bit of a faster update and response. Alright, so I'm going to take this light and I'm going to come over here, perspective, and let's just look through it. And I'm going to, let's select this, focus on that, and I'm going to come around here like this. And let's see if I get any render going on. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Let's add that weight. So I probably didn't do that last time either. There we go. So now I'm starting to see that come in, right? That rim light's starting to pop a little bit. And again, it's meant for that rim, but we also need to come in and do that, give it its own tone map. So let's do that. So we're going to go ramp texture. I'm going to take that settings and throw it off to the side. Now I'm going to call this my rim ramp. Grab this and I'm going to drop it into my tone map right here. And things shouldn't really change at that point. But once I go from linear to none and then take this back, there we go. So now I'm getting a nice sort of bright light coming in. And let's see if we can extend this at all. And go to the side. See how this is only trying to give me some rim, right? So I can do something like that. That's kind of cool right there. Now in Arnold, if I wanted to make that orange, that's how I'm gonna color that light, right? So we got an orange, yellow. There we go. So that's not so bad. That's kind of fun. Actually, I kind of like it on that side of the face in this shot, but I can bring it back over here and use this. And there's really no win for using this spotlight. Let's take this light and grab this color, and let's go more just to a warmer color, something like that. There we go. Though that purple wasn't looking that bad either. That saturation is a little too much. And red on blue, it tends to look a little but okay, there we go. So I'm going to do something like this, try that. And then I'm going to grab this light. So select the camera, and I'm going to change this from a spotlight to a directional light and see what kind of visual interest this gives me. It's kind of interesting. It looks like, let's look at perspective 1 here. What's my direction doing here? That is not what I expected, and you know what? I think I'm gonna make a new light here. I'm just gonna delete you. Now, actually, with this, if we come back to this, and I'm going to delete this from that light, the rim by itself actually has some rim effect, right? And that's always going to be coming from that camera, right? So here I can, shorten that up or whatever and make it around the entire character all the time. So let's look at them from the straight. Let's come back a little bit. There we go. No! I had it. I'm not too sure why. It's pretty slow. Let's go perspective. There we go. For me, this is slow. All right. Let's come back to about here. All right. So there we can see how that that rim ramp is going to work without a rim light specifically, and how it's just going to go around that entire character. I like a light with direction and purpose, so I'm going to come in and create that light. So I'm going to, again, light, and we're going to do a physical light. And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to perspective 1. And then I'm just going to position this light above his head. And we're going to change this to a directional light. And I'm going to come this way. And again, I'm going to come back and rename this guy Rim. So here's my outliner. And we're going to call this my RS Rim light. Right, and let's do that connection again. So I'm going to turn this off. I have my light selected. Then I'm going to take my Toon material, middle drag it onto color. I'm going to follow this through, and then I am going to add that rim light like that. And then I'm going to let go of it. Go select that light again and break that connection. When I was just entering the name in, it was not working. So I think it needs that. Let's zoom up on this again. I'll lock it with the camera. Okay. So now I can see my rim light, and I can start playing with that rim. Like so. Alright, so now this rim light, the problem with this rim light is it's actually lighting the character as well. And I don't really want it to light the character. I just want to have him give it rim, right? Because you can see, like right here, as I bring it to the side, you see how his face is getting light, right? I don't want to do that. So what can I do? Well, what I can do is I can go down to the contribution of the light group, and I'm going to grab this Toon diffuse, and I'm going to turn that off so it's no longer affecting that diffuse. And then I'm going to get the Toon reflection, and I'm going to make it so it doesn't do that. And so now all it's doing is just affecting the rim light, right? And so now it's playing with that rim. Now I'm going to come back to the Toon, and I want to make this, I want to cut this more into his face, because it's just really hitting that rim. And so if I go to the rim here and I start playing with the width, that's going to bring it more into his head, which is kind of what I want. And then maybe I can play with this angle just a little bit more here to cut down along his jaw, maybe. I don't know. And we can play with the spread. The spread and the width work together. Let's see if I cut down that spread. It's going to bring that down. This is cutting in. Now I'm looking really diffuse here. Or I want that more solid. And I'm getting the fall off. I'm not really cranked about the fall off that it's giving me. So I'm just going to cut you back like this, bro. And then another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. Oh no, I thought I could adjust the shadow here, but I don't think so. I'm going to pull that back. something like this. Actually, I kind of really liked it more here, playing with that shadow. I thought that kind of looked a little bit cooler, so I'm going to put that there. Another thing here, I'm not loving where this shadow is hitting, and so I'm just going to grab this light. And remember how we played with that fall off? That was that saturation. So I can take that, move that a little bit more like that. And of course, I can also play with the intensity. That's going to spread it out a little bit more as well. I want to see these though, right? So now I maybe need to come into that contour again and maybe adjust that contour to hopefully pick up some of those lines. It's nice, I'm picking up some of the wrinkles up here now and stuff like that. And so it's kind of feeling okay there. Now what I want to do is I want to propagate this on the rest of his shader. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight all his objects here, and I'm just going to graph material and selection. So let me quickly just get rid of the old shaders and I'll put on the new shaders, and then we'll go from there and figure out how to get this in, because this is going to be boring to watch me do that. Alright, so here we have achieved what I wanted to achieve, which is I've toonified all these guys. So now I've gone through all these connections. Oh, I forgot this bump, which I don't know if I have a bump here. Oh no, wait, this is my head. RS head. Alright, I don't care about the bump on that one. I do on the Mohawk though, which I think I have right there. Okay, so now I'm just going to highlight everything, and I'm going to open up another thing, graph material and selection, and that should get rid of mostly all the noise. So the head is driving most of these things here. So I'm going to propagate these settings onto everything else, right? So what does that mean? That means like I'm going to take this guy here and I'm going to take that rim ramp and I'm going to put it into the rim, and then I'm going to take the base color and I'm going to connect that into the base color right there. And yeah, we're like, hey, how about the reflection? I haven't seen you do the reflection yet. It's like, yeah, I don't like reflections on two shaders, but maybe we'll play with that a little bit, I think. All right, so then I'm gonna do the same thing to the Toon contact lens. So I'm just gonna make these connections here, right? And that's because I want a consistency throughout the entire thing. So I'm gonna hit pause, and I'll be back, and I'm gonna make these connections. All right, so that connection is done. And the next thing I want to do, again, is I want to be consistent with these objects. But sometimes that consistency is not exactly what you think you want, and you're not going to kind of get what you want. You're not always going to get what you want. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to go into all my shading groups. And I'm going to add the contours to it, right? So it's the same contour, which is right here. So I'm going to click that. And let's see if that's actually what I want. And we need to look at this guy next up here. Let's grab you. Contour shader. There we go. And here I'm going to come in. And I'm just going to scrub his animation to look at his teeth. The rigger kind of really put it far back there. And I don't know if I want that for those teeth. That line might be a little too thick. And honestly, I don't know if I really specified, like, the width of the internal width and the external width are two different ones, right? So the external width is pretty much your silhouette, right? So if I make that thick, it's going to be thick, but I can have thinner lines in the internal shape, right? So I'm just going to do something like that. There we go. So teeth I'm not super fond about, and that probably could use its own contour, especially on the thickness. But I'm going to keep this kind of like what I have it right now. And let's come down and let's look at this this mohawk. Let's see if I can do it in this image. There we go. And yeah, actually I kind of want it around there. Okay, so we're going to go to the mohawk. And the first thing about the mohawk is let's turn on that rim light. Now, I don't think I'm actually in really any direction of that one rim, but I can increase that width. There we go. It's picking it up a little bit there in that detail, which is not so bad. All right, that's looking okay. Actually, we need to link this rim light. That's why it's not really picking that up. So again, I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, and you know what? I'm going to do it. Hopefully this bug goes away, or hopefully this bug only exists for me. So I'm going to select this light here, and then I'm going to grab my mohawk. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to grab that mohawk, punch that into color, follow this through, add it to the rim, and then I'm going to come back, select that rim, and then break that connection and make sure that's still back at white. There we go. It's done, so let's hit play now. Alright, I lost that and I really don't have it here, but I think it's because I'm more perpendicular this way. So I'm not really seeing much of that rim right now. I am going to trust that it's there. If I really increase that width, there we go. I'm picking up a little right there. I'm going to decrease that width though. Alright, let's go perspective view. Let's see if I can actually, where I can see it. There we go. Now I'm starting to see it on my rim light here. Oh, that's not bad. The character. I'm going to bring them back a little bit. Alright, so now here what I find with, especially with lighting your character, is kind of like more of something, right? Like if I see more of that, this dark area, and it starts to look flat, so I don't really want to go that far. He's kind of looking flat. I would like to get more punch out of this. And how can I get more punch out of this? Maybe if I go to Redshift and I increase this guy up. Maybe increase his tessellation. And I'll pick some more geometry up on that head. It's driving me nuts a bit. Alright, let's get off this kid. Alright, so I'm going to go to my mohawk here. And let's, we have the reflection weight at 1. So turn that off. I'm going to turn that on. Alright, so let's make a light for this guy. So I'm going to create lights. And, oh, sorry, Redshift. We're going to go lights. And I'm going to go, again, physical light. And this guy we're going to make a spotlight. And I'm going to look through it. Look through selected. And I'm going to maybe try to get something going on right around here. So let's take this intensity and let's pop it to a 30. There we go. I can see it. Wow, I lost my mouse. All right, my mouse is back. Okay. All right, so that's definitely working. Now I can sort of bring that down, right? And of course, what we need for this is going to need a tone map as well, right? So let's come to the mohawk. Let's give it its own tone map. So I'm going to bring in a ramp texture. Go here. Let's call this my rim tone map. And then I'm going to connect it to my reflection. Actually, sorry, this is my reflection tone map. That reflection tone map, and then we're going to drop this again to none. And then I can extend this forward like this, right? And now we can come in here and we can start playing with the roughness. You know, there's the weight is kind of that, you know, that brightness. But then that roughness is going to be the spread, right? You can do something like that. And then here I'm probably going to, because this is metal, what I might want to do is go sample the color of that. Because of course metal is going to reflect the color of metal. So maybe I'm going to do something like this. Maybe push it a little bit more red like that. Right? So now I'm getting that light coming in. And it's really bright, so let's actually select that light. View select camera. And let's bring the exposure down. There we go. I'm going to do something like that. Let's see if I play with that cone angle. See how we got that cone angle. It's sort of affecting it a little bit. Another thing we can do is we can come over down here and we can look at the shadows, right? But here we can switch this also to stylized. And then the stylized, we need to do the light linking again. So let's try this. Let's see if it works. So again, I'm going to turn this off. View, select camera. Take my Toon Mohawk, connect it into here, follow it through, add that physical light, and then go back. I wonder if I can see it there. I can't see it there, so I'm just going to select it here. And then I'm going to break this connection. Break connection. And again, that's because I can't select. I can select this and select this at the same time, and I don't know. I can select this, then select that. See how it selects that second thing? And that's not doing it for the light and the whatever. So I'll just live with it the way I got it. All right. Maybe if I had the object there on this, that would do it. But it doesn't matter because I've resolved it. All right. So stylized. Let's see how it looks now. So I'm gonna hit play. Remember to lose that connection. So here we go. I got two little dots right there. I don't know if I was thinking that's what I would get. Let's play with that roughness. Let's play with the position of the light. Alright, now that light is affecting it on many levels. So I'm going to go File, again, select Camera. Oh, actually, it's alright that it's working on every level. This isn't a rim light. I keep thinking of it as a rim light. So now I can just come along and, you know, position that light where I want to position that light. And it's going to give us the stylized look here. It's going to try to give us that stylized look. Though I'm really not sure how much that stylized look is really coming through. I'm going to bring down that transparency or that brightness because that intensity was too much. And I think it's trying to grab the shape a little bit better on that. And there you go. So there's my my stylized highlight. Now, whether or not you like that, I'm not crazy. Like I said, I'm not crazy about specular on Toon. I find that it generally doesn't work. But here, let's scrub them out a little bit here. Let's check his animation out. That's kind of fun. It's kind of working. I just need a body for him, eh? And alright, this is bugging me, so I'm going to go to the contour and I'm going to try to get a little bit more detail here. I'm not really getting it that great. Another thing we can do that I had noticed is going to panels. I'm going to go back to perspective 1. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to turn off my symmetry. And I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to go to here. And I'm going to mesh display, and I'm going to harden the edge. I think it might pick it up under the geometric normal. No, it's weird. I got it working before when I would make it hard. I'd actually make it so you could come in here and define an area, and I don't know, it's not working as well anymore. But I think I sort of got something going on, so take a look at it, and I think he's looking okay. Now I just need to, get something a little bit more interesting visually going on. Where's my dome light here? Well, let's play with this color. Let's take it for a drive. That's not bad. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go analogous here. And I got that orange. Yeah, that teal in this is going to work pretty good. And I might just desaturate that a little bit, bring that down a little bit, and come over here. And then let's come into the photographic exposure. Let's bring that black crush up a little bit. Let's give me a little bit of a vignette here. Play with my saturation a little bit. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. I can definitely tune that out a littleit more. Let me try to find my shot here. That's too weird. There we go. So that's about it. That's my brief overview of the thing. I think I might do some videos where it's just like a more precise breakdown and not me having fun and faffing about. So thank you very much for your time.